Hello. Welcome to today's webinar. We're going to get stuck straight in with the training resources that are all at the very bottom of your screen. I'm Nicole O'Connor. I'm delighted to be here with you all. Please do pop into the chat and say where you're coming from. We will have probably some of our innovators or myself pop in and keep the chat going. So if you have questions, head straight there. I'll be delighted to help you out, and so will everybody else in the chat as well. So keep it going throughout this session. What we're going to do today is you're going to go to the link that's at the bottom of the screen, adobe.ly/AceYourICT, and it's going to bring you to this page. Once you get here, I am going to kind of talk you through some of the things that we're going to get up to today, which includes learning why Adobe Express supercharges digital learning, because this session is for the ICT coordinators and the digital leads in your school. Don't worry, if you're not one of those guys and you're just really excited about Adobe Express and you want to come to all the courses, you are very welcome here. And I'm just going to take this from the angle of when I was an ICT coordinator, what were the type of things that I was doing with maybe my digital leaders? What were the type of things that I was getting my colleagues to do? And what type of resources can you go to in Adobe Express that really help the students, but also the teachers, teach those really important digital literacy concepts that we need to do in that role as an ICT coordinator. By the end of the session, if you don't have it already, you're going to have your Adobe Creative Educator badge. I'm going to welcome you to the Adobe Creative Educator Leader Program, and you could be in my email for next week whenever I onboard the next cohort of ACE leaders. We are also, during the session, going to create two things. We're going to create a poster and we're going to create a video. And we're going to remix from templates. And then what we're going to do is spend a little bit of time looking at what's coming to Adobe Express very soon before we wrap up our session. And hopefully I'll keep the conversation going with you over in our Edu forum and other places like that on social media using the hashtag Adobe Edu Creative. So that's what we're going to get up to today. You see, we're going to do an explainer video and you've got the link already. It's ticking along at the bottom. So why are we using Adobe Express and creativity with AI in particular in our classrooms? Well, there was a research study done about creativity with AI in education, and the link for it is just underneath this little thumbnail when you go to this page. But this is one of the really standout statistics that comes from the key findings in here, which is 92% of the educators believe that creative literacy is beneficial for enhancing student learning. Now, the vast majority of us, understand that and get why it's so important and why it's beneficial for students, not only for them right now, but for the future careers that they're going to go into. And I know it is a tale as old as time that we don't know what jobs students are going into in the future, but what we do know is that they're going to need thinking skills. They're going to need creative thinking skills, because every single time that the World Economic Forum puts out their future jobs report, creative thinking is always up there in the top 5. And being able to use creative thinking with some emerging technology and artificial intelligence, such as the Gen AI tools available in Adobe Express, is a really great way to give them little exposures to some of the communication skills that they need for prompt engineering, and also to give them an opportunity to not be intimidated by the fear of the blank page, but to give them a template that they can remix and really express themselves. That's what I love about using Adobe Express templates is, although you've got students creating from the same template, every outcome is different at the end. You can read more from that research study with the link there and go and check out some of the other key findings. It's really insightful. Even if you just go to the top 5 findings, you'll take away some nuggets to share with your colleagues. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a poster. So a little monument, a little esafety poster here. And when you click it open, well, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to click this open in, I'm just going to copy this link and I'm going to click it open in Adobe Express for Education, which is over here for me. And what we're going to do is we're going to make our own version of this. I mean, this one already looks fantastic, but you can see in the bottom corner, it says, remix this template to create your own cyber safety superhero. So if you want to come straight to this link, then just go to the link that's come straight to this template. Just go to the link that's ticking along at the bottom, and it's activity 1. Remember, during our ACE webinars now, you can pause me. So if you find that you're taking a bit more time with your creativity when we do this poster, or you need a bit more time to come up with a cool name for your character, then pause the video, have a little moment to think things through, and then just hit play when you're ready. So we're going to have a little go at creating someone here, and you can see all the concepts that are involved. So we've got text to edit, we've got a catchphrase, and then we've got our character. And this character has been created with generate image. So we can go in and change the prompt to make our own character, and we can change the color scheme then and the themes, so on and so forth. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need a character to create with. So I'm going to go with, I'm very much all the time recently been talking so much about privacy. So I think what I'll do is I'll go for, and like every teacher ever, I love a bit of alliteration. So I'll maybe go for a character called Pixel. In fact, I quite like that it was in all caps. Let's go for Pixel. And I mean, I could probably put, let me center this here. And the secret identity, I'm going to go for D Coder, as if her first name is D. And I'm just going to drag my text box into the center. These special powers are going to be can instantly make personal information invisible. Okay, mission and purpose. Well, Decoder's mission and purpose is to teach people to be selective about what they share online. Weakness. What's the weaknesses of privacy? Those terms and conditions, right? The lengthy terms and, well, I'd probably have a capital T, capital terms and conditions can overwhelm and confuse her. Okay, so I've got my key information about Decoder, our privacy pixel, and I need a catchphrase. So a catchphrase for safety, and again, we're just more making an example for students. So this doesn't need to be perfect, friends. Keep it secret. I almost want to use my catchphrase. If in doubt, don't share it out. That's what I used to say to my pupils all the time. If in doubt, don't share it out. Now, smashing. So we've got pretty much everything done here. Now I might just get rid of this little speech bubble and instructions because I don't need it anymore. Like, this is just for when you go into the template. But now I want to make pixel. So let's click on the image of the Gen AI character, and then we're going to click the thumbnail here for generate image. And I can see, if I zoom in here, I can see the prompt: a superhero full body with binary code on his costume, comic book art style. I mean, it's pretty good prompt there. So a superhero full body. And what I might do is might actually say the colors for this one. So I think of like I think I'm thinking of red, although I'm probably seeing red all around my screen right now, so that's probably why. I think privacy and things like that is quite like alert, alarm kind of thing like that. With like encryption, almost maybe like encrypting data with encryption code. And I would just say child friendly, again, just to get the most responsible Gen AI image that is possible here. So let me zoom that out again. And I'm going to go with graphic style. And then I like going into concepts and choosing simple. I find that sometimes just gets something quite straightforward. And then, of course, I'm going to get 4 options to choose from. And if I don't like them, I can report them. I can give them some feedback, thumbs up, thumbs down. And I used to do that with my students as I get them to edit all of them, is to give them a little bit of feedback on each one. So, I mean, these are fine. I suppose I want to go for another one. So let me see. Because I'm not actually happy with how they've turned out. I maybe want a bit more clothes on, to be honest. So that's where I would go to the 3 dots and submit feedback. If I want to, change things like that. A superhero, full body. A cloak of concealment would be good. Wearing a cloak. Full body with encryption data on a red costume. Comic book style. Right, let's see that. Let's try again. Maybe I could take simple off. Or did I take it off in time? That's always the guess that we're going with, isn't it? Let's see what I get for this one. And then I'm going to have to change all this blue and yellow and navy into something different. I mean, that one looks quite good. That one looks quite impressive. Yeah, like that one. I'm hoping the background is going to remove. There we go. Right. Loving that one. Let's go with it. And let's now start changing the colors around. So I'm going to try going up to theme here and seeing if I can go with like a red theme. I need like red, white, and yellow. Oh no. Let me see. I'll maybe shuffle until I get a different way of it. Shuffling through is always interesting to see how they turn out. Okay, let's see. Red and white. Okay, what's this one? Ooh, yeah. Okay, so quite liking that. Let me shuffle through a few more. Yeah. And again, I can always go in and customize these even more because I'm like, this one's pretty close to what I want. I just can't see pixel too well. So I'm going to keep the rest of that. And now I'm just going to go to the text box and I'm going to change one of them to the page theme. So the page theme comes up after we do that. Yeah, that one's pretty good there. Yeah, pretty happy with this. I'm going to move pixel over a little bit. And I mean, I could go in and get an element, or actually, if I go back to the activity, pretty sure it says, yeah. So the extension for this would be a voiceover, video self-record, or animate a character to come in here. So let me see if I can get a little character that could maybe be Pixel's sidekick. Just go to media, then go to videos, and then we go into animate characters. Now, if you're on an iPad, you can't get animate characters from this way. You have to get your animate character from the home screen, animate it, download that video to your iPad's camera roll, and then come back into this project and insert your video via the media tab. For me, I do have access to it because I'm using the browser version. So I could find like who might be Pixel's support. I mean, probably a robot. Let me see if I can just go get the robots. There we are, robots here. Okay. This one looks very pixelated. Suzanne X3. Okay, let's go with Suzanne X3. And maybe I'll shrink down here because I like seeing the full body because you never know which parts are going to animate. And I don't need a background because I already have the cool pixel background. If you are doing this with students, enhanced speech is going to be a fantastic option if you don't have private recording booths for everyone. So you can toggle that on and it will take out the background noise so the children don't need to go and find the storeroom, the cupboard and things like that, or you don't have to just not do recording because of this. You could also find that students could go to, sometimes I know colleagues who would be like, oh, students can only do recordings at home, but now you can go to enhanced speech. Right, let's record a little fun fact or something extra for Pixel's sidekick. One of the things Pixel is great at doing is reminding everyone that privacy is power and you can control your digital footprint. Done, okay? Then it's going to take a little second to animate. And this is like a little optional extension because this is now turning our poster into an animation, into a video. But at this stage, you might have been just happy with the poster as it is and go, just because I can, doesn't mean I need to, you know. So maybe you just want to finish your activity there and be done. But sometimes it's nice to have an extension activity that students can go on to do, or that you might want to have just universal for design for learning principles in there where students can have multiple means of expression for their learning in this type of activity. Once you have your video, oh, what happened there? Did I have a glitch? Usually it shows you it first, but that seems to be a new way to come in. So let's have a little listen here at Suzanne. Very good. What I might actually do is flip this little character around a bit. So I've clicked on the video, then I go to position, and I'm going to flip it horizontally. So it's like facing towards Pixel, and then move it over. And now hit play. There we are. That's a bit better. And if I wanted to, I could go in and make this little character the page themes as well. So I'm just going into edit and ooh, too dark. No, that's a bit too much. Let me flip it this way. Ooh, moody. There's too many edits going on here, Nicole. You're going a bit mad now on it. This is what children will do, right? They'll just click all the buttons. So I like doing that as well. So all I did was click my character, then go up to effects, and I'm just playing around with duotone here. And then if you don't want to, you just click done. Just click none, and then you're finished. Right, less is more here, so I'm going to have to stop footering about here and go just save my work. So Pixel, Cyber, Safety, poster. Save, there we go. Now you got your download options and your share options, because we know it's great that children do this type of work on their computer, but maybe they want to go and share it beyond just the screen that they're on. So you've got options to download, and you've got pretty much every download option imaginable. But of course, if you were downloading something that has a video as a PNG, as an image, or as a PDF, you won't get to see that. It's totally up to you what way you're choosing to ask students to share their work with you. You might also ask them just to share it as a view-only link or directly into Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, Drive, or OneDrive. Those usually require an assignment open for Google Classroom, definitely, so that students can submit that as a response. If you're using other LMS platforms, then you might just want them to create a view-only link and to create that link. And what that essentially does is it gives you a bit like an unlisted YouTube link. It gives you an unlisted URL where anyone with the link will be able to see the work. But you wouldn't just be able to search it and like search Pixel Decoder up on Google and find it. It would only be those who have the link can access it. So create the link, customize for your students, or send it to your students. Now, if you wanted to make a change to this entire activity, maybe you didn't want a superhero themed one, maybe you wanted one that's more like a digital avatar for like a little digital cartoon that isn't a superhero, or maybe you wanted to make a lot of changes and actually have like multiple pages in this, or have less text on it, so on and so forth. You wanted to make more changes. You could then click this option, oh, zoomed in too far, to allow others to remix. And then when you share this link, well, I would have to go and update this link first. When you share the link with people, they'll have a little button to remix the template. I'll show you what that looks like. Essentially, it will just give them an option to make changes on the edits you've provided, but they're not changing your original version. So I will let this finish generating for a little second. and it's going to be the same URL. It's not going to change the URL at all. All it's going to do is update it. So it's kind of like the usual web design things, you know, like when you have a new shopping website, they aren't making a new website from scratch every time and you have a new URL to go to. So right there's the little remix option. Maybe you're just using the animate character to explain the instructions to students. You know, there's so many different ways that you could use this. And then they click remix and go in and make their own version of this template. Okay, activity 1 done. And I know that one was fairly speedy, but essentially what we did was we changed the theme up at the top by clicking the little paint palette, searching for a color scheme that we thought was applicable, changing all the text. I happen to have a lot of it at the top of my head because I knew this session was coming up. So don't worry if you weren't ready to think up a whole new character right away. Then we were clicking on the Gen AI image and generating our own version. And then we came up with a little catchphrase, and as an extension, we put in some recording. Just thinking I can't really see the outline of the speech bubble, so I might change it around a little bit. Yeah, good. See, always wanting to edit and change and improve work. Like I'm like every kid ever in your class. If you wanted your students to maybe do this with other students, like, you know, let's say you're teaching a Key Stage 2 class and you have either a couple of digital leaders in that class, you know, you could essentially give them, maybe if you went in to like edit the timeline, what you could do is you could like duplicate this page over and over and over again. So you could have like, say those digital leaders were going down to the primary 4 class, they could have like a little team of 5 students with them, and they could have 5 scenes, and they're helping each student create a scene. They could of course collaborate. So all they have to do is go to the little person up at the top, and you know, all of those students in primary 4, those 4 students or 5 students that the digital leader's working with, could all come into the one project to make their cyber safety heroes. You know, there's lots of different ways that you could do that, depending on what way your school's set up for peer support between pupils who have digital skills and want to boost other digital skills. Right, let's go back to the Adobe Express for Education homepage. At this moment, what I want to point out is that there are heaps of other e-safety posters on in Adobe Express and activities that you could look for. So just kind of search some of those keywords like cyber safety, see what comes up. There's cybersecurity, kind of vertical template. I mean, there's a great one as well there, an internet safety poster. Excuse me, friends. Add an image to go with each tip. So simple 5 top tips and a little image for each one. Here's some more, like this one, like looking like a little hacker. A little did you know series. There's the one that we just did for side blocks, and then you can view all. So there's even more posters in there. You could of course then search things like internet safety, and you would get similar ones come up because they should be tagged slightly similar. Let's search for like privacy, see what comes up. Yeah, shielded. Ooh, I like that one. Keep out private property. So there you are. You can kind of search those same buzzwords and you'll get heaps of templates that you can go in and view. And there we go. We've got loads to work with. 3 ways I stay safe online. Great little templates in there for students. So heaps and heaps and heaps to pour into. What we're going to do next, if you haven't already scrolled on down, I know that's what I would do. Someone gives me the resources for a course. I have definitely scrolled to the bottom to see what's coming up. Well, now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a template now that has nothing to do with the concept of e-safety or digital leaders or things like that. So we're going to do a little bit more remixing because it was quite quick to remix that poster. This one might take like a little bit longer because it doesn't have as many of the like I didn't need to change the background pixelated image, and we already had the characters in the right place and so on and so forth. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to create a waggle. We're going to create for your digital leaders or for your students, like what the good one looks like. So maybe you have a computer science or an ICT year 10 class, and you want them to do something for the new year 8s or the new year 7s, you know, that are coming into the school. Or maybe they're going out, you know, on the work placement or the school experience things that you do when you go around to when you're in big school and you go to the primary school and you show them what it's like to be a student in big school. Don't know if every school does that or if that was just my education, but essentially you're going to create now what a good one looks like, what a simple explainer video looks like that your digital leaders could create and give out as a little presentation in a class or a little assembly. And it's just this little explain like I'm 5 video. And I'm going to do the same thing again, which is I'm going to actually copy this link and paste it over here because this is where my Adobe Express for Education account is. There we go. So we're straight into this little template and I think it's absolutely adorable. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up to the top and say, explain like I'm 5. And we could just take this playhead for a little scrub through and see what is actually in this video. So it's a science concept, something to do with the planets. There we are. And it has little instructions for us to do as we go along. You can see there's some animations, some 3 simple steps, keep on scrubbing, some more instructions for us. And then at the very end, a little, why is this cool? And that's a really adorable image. Okay, so this is now activity 2. If you have just joined in, and if you have just joined in, you'll be able to catch up on the rest of the recording over on YouTube. And you can, of course, pause at any time. So if I'm going too fast and you think I need a little moment to do that skill, pause it. Now, let's have a little look then. What are we going to do? Well, I'm going to explain the concept of, I'm going to stick with the privacy element. So I'm going to do maybe like your digital footprint. So I'm going to explain like I'm 5, and it's not a science concept. I'm going to say digital footprint. Oop. Digital footprint. I might just move this over a little bit. And I'm just going to click. So I mean, that little character's cute and I'm happy with him. I'm going to click here and I'm like, okay, right, I don't need this planet Earth. I'm going to take it out. And I don't need this large moon either. I could go and replace things. Like I do really like using the replace button. And I think what I kind of actually need is, I think I maybe need like a beach idea altogether. So I'm going to click this background that we've got. So I've clicked here and now I'm going to click replace. And I'm going to replace from photos, and that's going to bring me to the Express, the stock library within Adobe Express. So again, I click the image in the background, then click replace, and then go from photos. Now you might have photos on your device, that's fine, you just go and upload. And I'm just going to search for beach and have a little scroll. I mean, this one's cute. It's a nice little one. Oh, and I can tell, can you tell if there's a filter or an effect on this? Because this one looks like a lot lighter, the blue in the sky, than over here. And I can see like, you know, proper sandy white sand here. It's quite greyed out here. So I can go and have a little look at those effects afterwards. That's what's really good. And sometimes a restriction to be aware of when you use replace is that it keeps the same crop, it keeps the same filters and effects on it as well. So find one that you're happy with. You know, I think I actually am happy with this one. But maybe just move it over a little bit. Let me see if there's another one similar. I like that one too. Yeah, okay. I'm actually going to go with this one. Now, what I want to do is I need to make this a little easier to see. I'm going to go digital footprint down here. And I'm going to actually click on this image again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little look at what effect is on it. So if I go over to effects, ooh, none, none, none. So I'm going to look for my next clue to find what is making this image looks different. And I can see that there's a background color up the top here that's kind of like that navy blue. So if I go back over to edit, I bet the opacity has been dropped down. Aha, it has. So the background color is navy and the opacity has been dropped down so that you can kind of see through to the background color. So I can bring that back up and it's like full brightness again. So just other ways that you could use your background images. So let's keep explaining like I'm 5, but I'm going to make it white for the clouds maybe. And I'll have like a little gray outline or silver, sorry, clouds have silver linings. So I'm going to go with that. And the digital footprint, I think it makes sense to have some cutout text here. So let me just move my character over and I'm going to go for some cutout text. And how I'm going to do that is go over to effects and I can see that there is a text shape on here. So I'm just going to click the options button on top and then cut out text. I could swap it around like that, or I think actually the color would be better being sandy, wouldn't it? Let's go over to orangey. Or actually what I could do is pick this color and let me make it a wee bit darker. Now I can't see anything because I'm the wrong way around, like that. I actually disagree with my choice because I don't think it's very accessible. Let me see, maybe I'll make it even darker, like so. Yeah, okay, that would do. Explain like I'm 5, digital footprint. Okay, now I'm going to come over to the next page and have a little look. So I'm going to explain the concept of digital footprint first. And I can see actually what this template has is the same background the whole way through. So I'm going to actually just copy this background and click my playhead at each scene and just paste. So all I'm doing is Control-C, Control-V, or Command-C, Command-V if you're using a Mac, and paste over like that. If you're on an iPad, you can click the image, go to the 3 dots, and then click copy, and then go on to the next page, click your 3 dots, and paste. Okay. And see, well, my character's fine. That way now I have my next page to go to, and I can see digital footprint's going to be up here. I need to use very simple language that a 5-year-old could understand. And it says animate elements to help someone understand the concept. Okay, so I know I don't need this. So I'm just going to click it and I can go to the bin and I can click this one and go to the bin. Don't need those. And what I would actually like to animate is like some footprints in the sand here. I've set myself up for a big challenge because I haven't actually attempted that yet, but I'm hoping that there will be a video that I could maybe use for that. Let's find out. We'll find out. This writing is going to be really hard to see right now. So now I actually understand why the designer chose to drop the opacity of the background so that we had like something a bit darker to work with. So I'm actually going to have to go and choose pretty dark font. Yeah, just go straight into the black there. And this one is going to be, well, I suppose I don't need digital footprint up at the top there. You can just say, no, I do. I'll keep it again. Digital footprints. And I'm going to go and get, no, I quite liked actually what I was doing before. So I'm just going to get the little light gray for the silver lining. And very simple concepts then that I need. So when you walk on a beach, you leave footprints. When you use technology you leave digital footprints. Ooh. You leave footprints too. They are invisible and called digital footprints. This has now turned into me thinking out loud. Sorry about that, friends. Hopefully it's given you some time to think of your concept, or if you're doing the exact same thing as me, that's absolutely fine. What I might do is I absolutely love using shapes sometimes, so I might just go through and find a little shape that I think works well for this one. Yeah. Just because I just think it improves the accessibility, that we can read it a bit better. Now I definitely need to change the color. I mean, the yellow does work. It could be like the little sunny bit. So I'm not against it. I'm not against yellow. In fact, I'm going to keep yellow, but I'm going to just change to one of the recommended yellows because, hey, who am I to argue with Adobe? If they recommend that yellow, it must be a good one. Right, now I need to do this little instruction. So animate elements to help someone understand the concept. So I'm going to look for some footprints and yeah, I'll see how I get on with that. So maybe I'll go to elements first. Let's see if I can get footprints. Yeah, there's some really good ones. I'm trying to think, like, if I wanted to animate them one at a time, I would probably have to use a lot of the layer timings. Maybe that would be like a little bit of an advanced one. Are we up for advanced? I mean, this is a session for ICT coordinators and digital leads. I know not everybody is. So maybe I'll do a bit of both. So I'll go with the first one, which would be using this. Oh, that one is perfect actually, because it kind of fades off into the distance. Yes, like this one does. Let me turn it a wee bit like that. And I want to drop I want to change the color a little bit. So I'm going to go over to effects. I'm going to go to duotone, and I'm going to click on duotone again to customize these colors. So I want definitely like that kind of deep brown, as if like, yeah, there we go. I mean, that looks fab. I mean, the highlights are apparently green, but I can't tell. There we are. X off. That looks really good. Now I have to animate it. So I'm going to go to animations. And I mean, I don't need to be too precious, but I was like, really, realistically, the footprints are left there and they wouldn't move. So maybe what I'll do is I'll animate them in, and they can, let's see. Ooh, yeah, I like the blur. What's the pop like? And this is when there's options, I get overwhelmed. I'm like, I want to do them all. Fade wasn't bad there, you know. Fade and blur, I think I quite like. I'm gonna go with blur, and I'm gonna click on top of the blur and like kind of extend out the duration, how long it takes them to blur into. Yeah, I like that. Maybe not too long, maybe 3 seconds. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So clicking on your element, and then up at the top, you've got effects, and duotone is how I'm changing the color of anything. And then animation is where you can choose an animation on the way in, a looping animation, one that happens the whole time, and one that happens on the way out. So let's say I want to loop an animation for my cloud here. That would be if I saw a cloud doing that, I would think the end of time is coming. So maybe I want something, I mean, that would be quite intense as well. So let's drop the intensity, click on top of it, and go like barely any intensity. And I don't want a whole lot of, I think there's an animation on the way in first, isn't there? Yeah, there is. So none of that. And let's just have nice and slow, nice and steady. And let's go soft personality. There we go. I like it. So that's just going to loop the whole time. So if I was to scrub back to the start of this scene and hit play, Ooh, the text already had a little animation on it. And I can see my cloud was going and that was going. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm happy. What I'm going to do, do you see this little like blue to purple dot? What I'm going to do is remove this pink element here, because once I've used the instructions, I'm going to delete the instructions really. So to find those, you were just scrubbing through your playhead, scrubbing through with your playhead until you find the piece that you didn't need, and then get rid of it. Delete with your keyboard or use the little bin icon. The first bit done, into the next scene. And actually between these scenes, I could do with a little transition, couldn't I? So just this little tiny plus here, we can add transitions. And you've just got a few that you could choose from. So you could push, you could slide, you could wipe. I think whenever it's the exact same scene next time, like because it's the same background, I'm just going to stick with a dissolve. So it's just like takes away that scene and blends into the next one. I'm going to apply that to all scenes because the whole way across, I have this exact same scene. And you saw there probably pretty instantly. Let me undo that so you could see it again. So do you see this little plus? That would just go apply to all scenes, and that plus you can now see has an animation there in place as well. So it speeds me up, which is great. On to the next scene then. Let's scrub over here. And this one is breaking it down. So 3 steps to break down a digital footprint. And I can see that there's little icons here as well. And the instructions say, use videos, voiceovers, or animate character to explain each point simply. Okay. What I'm going to do this time is, because I'm going to go back to my other scene, because I've already got my cloud text here with the animation on it that I like, I'm actually just going to copy this text box, bring it over here. And I know this one's going to be called break it down. So I'm just going to delete break it down. And I'm going to type it in. Break it down. So now I don't need to do the animation piece. Now I don't need to go and find the white font and the silver lining. And you know what? Whilst I'm here, I'm just going to, why is this super cool? Okay, I'm just going to do it for the last scene as well. Why is this, well, I wouldn't say super cool. For this one, I go, why is this super important? Awesome. I can stretch it out. Okay, back to the second scene. I just like, sometimes that's just how I create and edit, is if I've got something I'm going to reuse over and over, I'll go and put it in there just to speed me up. So now what I want to do is have a little look at these little shapes here, these little numbers. What I might do is go into effects, or go into edit first and change the color. I definitely need it to stand out a lot more. So the black here works for me. So let me just click on each one and go for the black. There we are. Now, what else do I need? Now what I need is the font to be legible. I can't really read that one at all. So I might go with the shape and the yellow again. So I went with View All. I think it was this one. Oh, I mean, that stands out. I should stick with the same style that I had on the, see on the second scene, that yellow box. I'm actually going to take this little picker and go and take that yellow there. And then the writing on this can stand out like that. There we are. Great. Let's do that again. So click the text box, effects. I'm going to find the shape that I want. So mine's in decorative. Shape fill, and now I can actually just go right here. And then the text fill, black. And one more. Effects, View All. I'm putting this one on. You can choose, of course, any that you want. Anything that works for you. And then some black there. Okay. So breaking down a digital footprint. So I would kind of need maybe some elements in here to consider. And what I quite like about these types of concepts whenever you're doing them with students is getting them to have like a little think about what type of visuals. Again, they have to be aware of their audience. So if they are actually doing this for the 5-year-olds, so for foundation stage or early years, what type of visuals work for them. And I might go for, if I click on this one, I see, when I click on all of these, I can see that the template here is using some clever layer timing so that they come in at a very specific time. So I'm not going to delete this and then put in something new. I'm going to replace. So you see at the bottom here how this layer starts like a little second into the video and then it stays for the rest of that scene. And so let me just drag my playhead to the start of this to show you. So there, and then this one comes in, and then this one comes in. So I want to make sure that I'm replacing. So click and then replace. And I'm going to replace from, let's replace from design assets first. And because I was in there already. So I'm going to maybe go, 3 ways? So might explain the digital footprint could be like a photograph, it's your words and your, maybe something to do with games as well for kids. Should type this one out. So yeah, let's go with like selfie, maybe. And that's child friendly. Yeah, let's go this one. That one works. And you'll see also again, I mean, I can fix the crop on this. Remember that part I said when you use replace, it keeps the exact same filters and effects that are on it, and it would stay cropped into the same shape. So this one must have a little, it does, it has screen on it. So I'm just going to click no opacity. And now I go on to the next one. The next thing, so we could talk about photos. Next thing I could talk about is like words that you type. So replace, design assets, typing, maybe. There we go. Lovely. And I'm just going to click on this to stretch out the cropped space. And I know it in opacity, it's currently on screen, which reduces the contrast. So I'm going to click normal. And then last but not least, let's replace design asset, and I'll go for click. Yeah, that's good. I might go this one. Yep. And I'm going to do the same thing again. So it's quite good for students, this type of template where you're repeating similar skills. So you're really refining that process over and over. It's quite good. And what you could do, again, depending on the background that you've chosen, the busyness of things, is, I could click on each of these and be like, right, I actually want them to have a bit of a shadow on them so that they're lifted up a little bit. I think that does work a lot better, doesn't it? I can see them a bit easier. And then I could explain, so I need videos, voiceovers, or animate characters. I also need a little bit of text. So every photo, every word, every click. And I want it on 2 lines as well to kind of match that. There we are. And now I could use voiceovers. And I can see like this scene's only 5 seconds long. Is it? That's 8 seconds at the moment. So I'm definitely going to need longer if I was recording this. So let me drag my playhead to the start, and I'm going to go over to media. And I did animate characters earlier, so now I'm going to go to audio and record a voiceover. And it will keep recording for as long as I need, and then I can adjust the scene length afterwards. So let me take a drink of water first. Record a voiceover. If it's your first time using it, it might ask for permission to use your microphone, but I've already given it permission. You can have, again, enhanced speech that you can toggle on, and it takes that noise out. I don't have any background noise, so I'll be fine. And now I can start recording. So, every time you or a grown-up puts a picture or a video online, it leaves a footprint. Every time you type a word or say something on a game or on a phone, it leaves a footprint. And every time you click a button or tap a screen, it leaves a footprint. So that one, I just kept going so that it would use up more across the scenes. So I can see I'm way longer than the length of this scene. So what I'll need to do is to stretch this out until I stop talking there. And now what we have is, again, a fantastic skill for students to learn, which is kind of like syncing up when the animation should pop in, because I'm pretty sure I don't start talking, well, I'll pause it as soon as I hear me mentioning the next tip number 2. Pause. So that's the end of number 1. So I now need number 2 to show up here. So at this stage, I'm going to click on number 2 and I can see where it is. And I'm just going to drag it over to the start of my playhead, and it kind of snaps into place. And then I just need to drag it to the end of that scene. And now I go back to the start of this bit here, and I click what the next thing is, which was the number 2, drag it, snaps on to the end of the playhead, and then drag that to the very end. Take my playhead back to the start of this bit there. Going to click the little icon, drag, snap, extend. Okay, let's see that. Have a little play. Pause. So this is now where number 3 is coming in. So number 3 happening here. Oh, actually, do you know what I'm going to do? Because I see number 1 disappears, doesn't stay to the end because I extended this scene. So let me just extend everything from number 1. Tip number 1 till the very end. Tip number 1 and tip number 1. Okay, let me try that again. Where was I roughly? Play. Pause. This is now when I need number 3s. So problem here, which is I need number 3. So what I'm doing now actually is, because I'm way past the end of this video, I actually want I'm just going to extend all of my number 3s to the very, very end. And then I'm going to trim where they start from. So let me just do all of that and try again. Pause. Okay, now this is where I need number 3 to start. So not away back there. Whoop, snap. And drag it in. Snap. And the last bit, drag it right up to the front. Snap. And let's see it. Okay, so I need to get rid of the instructions now for my video. So I'm just going to highlight it all, delete, and I'm on to the last scene. Why is this super important? So we've got some text again. We've got our instructions that say generate an image to visualize this concept in a fun way. Write a sentence about why this is fascinating. Oh, there we are. So why is this fascinating, or why is this important then? So I suppose I'm going to want to be like something super simple for kids. Just have to be careful of what we do online. You're the boss, your footprint, that type of stuff. Let's go with, and I want that yellow text box again. So I'm actually going to copy this one because I've already got it made. I'm going to delete this one and put this one in instead. I think I copied the background image instead of the text box. Let me click text box. 3 dots, copy. And this is us nearly done with this one. Paste it in here. Nope, I'm having a glitch. Right, let me refresh my screen. And I know that you will all know, if you're digital leaders and ICT coordinators, that technology doesn't always work even for you, and that reassures your colleagues. And they go, oh, great, okay. All right, let's try again. Click, copy, back over here, paste. There we are. Good old-fashioned refresh. Okay, so I want this to last to the end. And what do I want to say now? Well, what I want to do is actually make this a bit smaller, because this character comes in, this little image. So I want to make this text box neater and fit into that space. Lovely. And now what I'm going to say is, let's see. Your digital footprint is invisible. And it stays there for a long time. Make footprints you are proud of. Yay. Okay, lovely. So make footprints you're proud of is kind of the concept that's coming to my mind here. So I'm going to click on generate image, and a really cute little prompt. So cute moon character on, let me zoom that in. There we are. Cute moon character on a stage with starry curtains peeking out at the audience. The sun is a bit, okay. So cute digital footprint. I mean, is it weird to have a smiling digital foot? You know what? I'll just go with that for the sake of time. I'm not going to overthink it now. It's going to click. It's graphic, and it's, yeah, the photorealistic one would work for this type of video too. Whilst that's generating, I'm going to delete away these little instruction pieces because I don't need them now, and click back on this image so that I can see the options that it's coming up with for me. Pretty cool. Likes it. Oh, I like that one the best. I'm going to go with that one. Done. I mean, I could probably choose a more suitable themed one if I'm being critical and reflective of myself. But I think that's pretty good. I mean, if my kids created that, I would be really happy. So we're done. Then you would go and you could present this. You could download it. You go share and download. Let's see, download. There we are. MP4. I think, let me click here, start a little download of this, because I see the present button up there, and that means this is popped in as a presentation, which sometimes means when you download it, it only downloads one scene at a time. We'll find out in a little second, and I'll let you know before we go how you can download all the scenes together. I'm actually thinking, because it's taken a while to download, that it's fine. It's got all of them together. But we will double check, just to be sure. And then I could go in and caption the video. So yeah, no, I think we're fine. So if I was to click my download open, where to go? Oh, it's on my other monitor here. So yep, I can see. Let me drag it over here. Drag it over so you can see my little video. Really good. So it's the full video there. That's grand. it used to be, and I'm so delighted that it has been updated. It used to be when you were in a presentation and you had created a video all in here that it sometimes struggled to do all of the scenes together, but they've updated that, which is amazing. And you could go in and caption a video, so again, make it even more accessible for students and and for families, because sometimes when they're scrolling or having a little look at content on the school social media and things like that, they're not often watching it with the sound on. So captions can be really, really, really helpful for that. Okay, let's get our badges now and wrap up for today. So the rest of this section talks about like having a little look and going through some of the templates. We actually did that. We had a little browse of some of the other esafety templates that are available. And then you can have a little sneak preview of classrooms, assignments, and galleries whenever it comes to Express later on this, hopefully this term, if not next term. And then if you scroll on down, you'll find out a little bit of information about the ACE Leader Programme. The ACE Leader Programme is something I would love to welcome you to. It's free, it's flexible, and it's for everyone. So whether you are the ICT coordinator or the digital lead in your school, or whether you are a teacher who's just leading creativity in your classroom. Maybe you're leading creativity for a student teacher who's with you, and maybe you're leading creativity in literacy, in numeracy, in physics. There's no one way to be a leader, and there's no one type of teacher who is a leader. So it's a very simple sign-up form, and then you'll be in my onboarding email for next week. You get access to an ACE Leader badge, and if I come back over here, let me go to my other screen. Where am I? Here I am. If you do sign up, you get this badge, and you get access to resources, training materials. You don't have to train people on it, but if you did want to, you've got a whole bunch of training materials there. You get free resources such as like our prompt guides and our prompt inspos. You get access to, and you get to hear first about some of the new features that are coming out, some of the new events that are coming up. So there's a whole bunch that you can get access to when you join ACE Leader, and it takes a little minute to sign up. Now, let's get your ACE badge if you haven't got it already. So ACE badge is very straightforward to get. All you do is go to adobe.ly/ACE badge. And the one with the capital here, ACEB, capital ACEB, that takes you to a platform where you will click 4 buttons to get your badge. And if that, and then it'll send you an email to go and claim your badge from Credly. If you don't want to worry about all that and just want to go straight and download your badge, then don't use any capitals and you can go download your badge. Thank you so much for joining. I hope I get to meet you in person at some of our upcoming events. I hope I get to chat to you online properly, as a proper interactive one when you come to our ACE Leader calls. They're once a month. Optional, of course, if you can't make it because teaching life is busy, I get it, then that's totally fine, friends. Otherwise, hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you on a future one. Peace, love, and community hugs.